Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fabulous. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the News, where I share with you headlines from the main news feed that comes to my phone that I send to my personal news feed because the stories I want to talk about. At least the headlines. I may not want to talk about the story. I may have read the story. I may not have read the story. I may be familiar with the story. But it's not an in-depth analysis of the news. It's not news. It's a general survey of what's going on in the world and how it may or may not be relevant to me or to you, and sort of just kind of processing what's up. So it's not news, it's just my notes on the news. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. Because you never know when I might go live. I don't know. I don't even know when I'm going live. I need to hit the notification bell so I can know. Oh, I'm live. No, I'm just joking. I know. Probably right before I go live that I'm going live. And that's it. Today we're going to loop back to, hey, welcome on the chat. We're going to loop back to yesterday where we kind of got cut off. We're going to catch up on those news stories. Then we're going to go to the Nguza Saba, and twice in 1 week, it's going to snow tomorrow. Hi, IC. How are you? Remember when I used to go daily? I might get back to that one day. But you know what I figured out? If I come once a week, it takes me about 2 hours. If I come daily, it takes me about an hour and a half. So depending on yeah, I do too. But depending just on like what's going on with my schedule, it's just like it's not the most time efficient choice for me. So just trying to manage everything and get things balanced. Because you know how sometimes, life get a little out of balance, you write and got to kind of keep them balanced. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to jump into the news feed from yesterday. Then we're going to go into the Nguzo Saba. Today's Nguzo Saba, the Habaragani for today. The Saba for today is Kuji Chagalia. So we're going to pick up the second paragraph of that. Then we're going to do What Up, Dobo Buddha. And then we're going to jump back to the news feed. So we got a lot to do. It sounds like a lot. Let's see how quickly we can get it done. Welcome. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for being here live or virtually, however you're here. If you have to, hey, Bonafide 1970. If you have to jump off the line early, jump off the video early, jump off the live early. I said line, but I meant live. Just know that once it's uploaded, you can always come back and catch what you missed. And if you come in late, tell your friends if they come in late, they can go back to the beginning and catch what they missed. Bona, yes, okay. Uh-oh, let me roll the window down. It's getting hot in here. So take off your clothes. I am getting so, I want to I should not take my clothes off, but I can at least, I got another layer I could take off. Okay. Meanwhile, in Africa, more young people are being drawn to the sport of fencing. You know what it made me think about? Peter Westbrook Foundation. Does anybody know the Peter Westbrook Foundation? I don't know if they still exist in New York. Somebody that I went to school with was a fencer, Olympic caliber, as I understand it. I don't know, but that's the impression I had. He was an Olympic caliber fencer, and he used to work with the Peter Westbrook Foundation, which taught young people. I think they were mostly young folks from Harlem, black and brown folks, fencing in a context of like academic enrichment. So that's what I thought about the Peter Westbrook Foundation. But yeah, they say that meanwhile in Africa, more young people are drawn to the sport of fencing. I was watching Harlots, and hey, Double 7 Trouble. I was watching Harlots, and the man was teaching the keeper was teaching the young harlot to fence, and I thought, oh, fencing. But you know what I don't like about fencing is this, that it's one-sided, and so one side of your body gets more developed than the other. And I don't know if it's noticeable, like to the normal eye, like are you gonna be like all muscular on this side and like wimpy on that side? I don't know, but I'm just like, ew, it seems like it should be balanced. Okay. 26-year-old college student dies after being bitten by a shark off Cape Cod in Massachusetts. First fatal attack in more than 80 years. So prayers out to the college student who was killed, 26 years old. I wonder if they were a graduate student, but prayers out to that person who was killed and their family and their community and everything. So what's up with the shark? So after 80 years, a shark just bit somebody? Is it like just some random rogue shark who's like, hey, I'm gonna bite somebody? Is it like some shift in something? Does it mean anything? Does it mean nothing? Remember the movie Jaws? I remember when I was a child and I saw that movie, and for a while it wasn't really because I was afraid, but my play little sister, she was afraid to get in the water, and everybody just thought it was so cute that I wanted to pretend that I was afraid to get into the water, but I wasn't really afraid. I was just trying to get like attention. So anyway, yeah, I don't know what's up with that. That's coming off of Google. U.S. border agent Juan David Ortiz confesses to murder. So uh, the woman say she managed to get out of the car after he picked her up. I think she was a prostitute. He put the gun to her head. She got out the car, told, I think, the state trooper, this man tried to kill me. They caught him up. He said he had killed her, and apparently I think it was like 2 or 3 other people that he said he had tried to kill her. He had shot someone else who ended up dying in the hospital, and he had shot someone else. I think it was 2 or 3 people. It may have been more, it may have been less, I don't know, but he confessed to it, and he's a border patrol person. And when I read the headline, I'm like, now was this the same border patrol person who was doing some crime a minute ago? Because it seemed like it was a Spanish sounding name before. But apparently from this article I saw, sharks are becoming more active toward the coastline because of their food supply has been diminished due to the overfishing of the ocean, says Bonafides 1970. So I was kind of like, is this the same border patrol with the Spanish sounding name as before, or is this like a repeat of the story? But no, it's a whole different agent. And then I'm like, well, are the Latino agents or the Spanish name sounding agents being more active in criminality? Are they being accused of criminality? Like, what's going on? Is there a lot? Is it like disproportionately more of them? Maybe because in that line of work, you're in a region where there might be a lot of Spanish speaking people with Spanish sounding names, and maybe they want you to be bilingual for that work. I don't know, but it was just kind of like, wow, 2 Spanish sounding name people, and I don't remember what the other one's crimes were, but this one confessed to the murders. He said he did it. So prayers out to the people who lost their life. I don't know why it kind of gets on my nerves. I don't feel like anybody's life should be, just like, I don't feel like anybody should be out here killing anybody. But I do kind of feel like weird, like when people like choose to kill like prostitutes. To me, it almost feels like they're like, oh, well, prostitutes are worth less, so I'm going to kill them. Now, I don't know if that's what they're thinking, because you figure if you're killing anybody, you figure their life is worth less than yours, or you in a position to decide who live and die in terms of them. But yeah, I don't like the whole killing of prostitutes thing. I mean, I don't like the killing of anybody. So okay. Florence death toll. Florence is the hurricane that became a tropical storm, I believe, when it made landfall. Death toll rises to 25 as flooding continues. I think that might have been a couple of days ago. I'm not sure what the current update is, but it was on my news feed, so I read it. You could probably tell me what's new. So again, prayers out to the people in this country and throughout the world dealing with hurricanes, typhoons. Did you ever see the movie Seven? Should I see it? Did he kill 7 prostitutes? I don't really like these movies where the women get killed. I feel like it's kind of like terroristic. I don't know. Look, I'm like making all kinds of assumptions about Seven. Awful Louse, also known as Waffle House, stays open during hurricanes like Florence and has 4 secret menus in place for disasters. So the way that they do their menus is if you don't have electricity, if they don't have electricity, there are certain meals they can serve. If they don't have electricity and water, there are certain meals they can serve. I don't remember what the 4 things are, but there are certain things that they offer based on the conditions of the community that they're in. And I guess FEMA uses Awful Louse as some sort of like determinant of what's going on the ground. I didn't know that. So Waffle House is good for something. Pakistan bidders flock to PM Imran Khan's car auction. So the Prime Minister Imran Khan, he's I guess the Prime Minister of Pakistan. I think that he was auctioning off like his luxury cars and stuff. Like we got this bulletproof car, but because of the poverty that's going on, we have to go into austerity measures. So this fleet of cars, we can't afford it. We're not gonna be driving it. I can't have it. We gonna sell it. So people went and they flocked to the car auction. That's all I know. Nicaragua crisis, the people caught in the middle. Lombard Street riot, 3-day race riot in Philadelphia, 1842. I don't so much care for this term race riot, because I think a lot of times it's like a slaughter of black folks by white folks. But I'm like just starting to notice a pattern. Like when they say race riot, I think that it means that the white folks are slaughtering up black folks. It was a movie based on a serial killer who murdered people based upon their violation of the 7 deadly sins. I think I did see it. One of his victims was a prostitute I think I saw it years ago. So the Lombard Street riot was a 3-day race riot which occurred in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1842. The riot started on Lombard Street between 5th and 8th Streets. August 1st, 1842, more than 1,000 African Americans gathered to participate in a temperance parade. A temperance parade? Is that is temperance? What is temperance? That doesn't have to do with alcohol, does it? That's something else. A temperance parade to commemorate the 8th anniversary of the abolition of slavery in the West Indies. August 1st, 1842. The group was attacked on 4th Street by an Irish mob. What did I say? That beat many of the marchers and destroyed black homes in the area. The attack went on for 3 days. The Irish rioters headed west toward the home of prominent and outspoken African-American leader Robert Purvis at 9th and Lombard. Purvis sat on the steps of his home, armed and ready. He said, "I'm not going no place. I'm sitting here with my gun. Come on." Although his home was spared from the inferno by the intervention of a Catholic priest, Purvis eventually relocated permanently to his rural Bucks County home. The Irish immigrants and African Americans lived in the vicinity and often competed for the same low-paying jobs and places to live. Both groups felt their work hard and economic gains were being constantly threatened. During this period of time, and that's like the people, they fight. Why y'all coming to fight us? We not paying the money. Fight the people who are paying the money. Fight the people who are exploiting both of us. Why you fighting us? Why you coming to slaughter me? Hey, you are incredibly awesome, says Mr. Awesome Anthony. I hope your day is going great. This is an awesome encouragement day. Welcome. Yes, it is. Today is the best day ever, and you are the greatest. You are the #1 stunner. I usually share that for the end, but I'm just saying it now since Mr. Awesome Anthony is in the house and everything. Okay. The strength and vitality of Philadelphia's fast-growing free black community. Like, I just want to say this again. The strength and vitality of Philadelphia's fast-growing free black community generated fear, frustration, which ultimately led to violence on the part of the Irish immigrants. I think that that's often the problem. I think that it's hateration. I think that people, a lot, like, they're just intimidated and stressed out and annoyed by our strength and our vitality and our awesomeness. That's what I really think. I think they they get mad and they hating. And it's really kind of foolish, because dimming my shine does not make you any better. Why don't you focus on being better? I mean, black people are really, really special, strong, creative, intelligent, dynamic, wonderful people. Of those arrested by the militia, most were found not guilty or otherwise released. The 3 or 4 who were convicted received only light sentences. Oh my gosh, I'm so surprised. Bella looking up like, what's going on? Something about those Irish, that they just seem to have hatred of black people in their blood, when the only people they should have anything against are the English. Right. Why are you hating us? What we do to you? That's what, like, a lot of times when I'm like thinking of like white people and their hostility toward black people, I'm like, I don't understand, because we did not go and get you from your home country and bring you to another country and work you and beat you and exploit you and rape you and hold you captive, and then continue to do that even after the enslavement, the active enslavement was over. We continue, like, so why are you mad at me? It seemed like I should be mad at you. And we just really, for the most part, just want to live and be happy. Okay, so anyway, that's coming off of Black Then. Hold on. Okay. The Lombard Street riot. I wasn't familiar with that. Philippines typhoon Mangkhut, destruction in Apari. That's why I can't stand some of us who are actually foolish enough to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Oh yeah. Well, I guess that whoever is at the bottom of the hierarchy is the maddest at us at that time. But I do think, I'm not really sure about this, but I kind of have this impression that a lot of these police departments and a lot of these fire departments, because I feel like the police and the fire departments are like this, but I feel like a lot of these police departments are like very, very Irish, and I feel like they're very, very hostile toward black people. So, maybe if this continues, even though theoretically Irish people are not on the bottom of the hierarchy, like there's this whole concept of white, like becoming white in this country. And I think that the Irish people had to go through the process of becoming white. When they first got here, the people were treating them really bad. Like, you're not white. You're not white enough. You're not, you're like dirt, like the black people or whatever. But now that they've become, aren't they fully white now? Like, why they still, but I think that like tradition, maybe it's like blood memory. Maybe it's just like, I don't know. But the police department are the Irish made up a lot of the overseers and slave patrols. So true. When you go up north, it's still this way. Yeah, and I think that the connection between the police departments and the slave patrols and overseers is all parts of New York and Boston. Says Double Seven Trouble. Like, I like to, there might be some work that's been done on it that I haven't read, but I mean, and maybe I don't want to know more about it, but I do think that there's like a thing there. Okay. Sri Lanka war. I wanted my side to lose. I have no idea what that means. We're gonna keep it moving. Artist Dane Yoon's illustrations challenge notions of self. I have no idea what that means. We're gonna keep it moving. Mississippi agency bans Nike products after Kaepernick ad. Kaepernick. I don't know why. Yeah. Um. So I feel like there are two issues here. I'm still not a fan of Nike. I'm still glad that Cap got, Irish are whiter than white. Always have been, and they know it. The Irish are whiter than white. Oh, I've never heard that before. Because there's this concept of like the black Irish. I read about it because I was like, were there black people in Ireland? I like read about it on like Wikipedia or something. But it was like, I think the dark hair, I can't even remember now what the black eye, but I did Google it once upon a time because I was kind of curious. But like, so I'm not a fan of Nike. I'm not a fan of, who is that one who has his own special Jordans, all of that. I'm not a fan of Jordan and the exploitation of people. And I feel like this is like an opportunity for Nike to make some money off of black people. I feel like black people are like, we're very much consumers. So like, if you, once we and we're loyal consumers, and like, they just trying to get more of our money. I don't necessarily feel like Nike is some like progressive business or organization that I should support. I'm not going out to buy any Nikes. I'm not wearing any Nike swoosh to any formal event. No, I'm not. I'm not here for them. But I'm still glad that Cap got some money, because I figure he out here, doing what he doing. He not getting his income from football. I'm still not mad that, I'm still not upset that he's not playing football. Like, what I'm trying to say is, I'm glad he's not playing football, because they get banged in the head and then they have a traumatic brain injury. And I feel like I don't want that for anybody. So, but since he's not able to make a living at the job that he was pursuing, he has another source of income, or a little pot of money that he can use. I'm here for it. He seems to be progressive and thoughtful in his way, so I'm here for that. Dang, oh my gosh, oh, it's the worst. I came out of my thing. Um, So the so-called Black Irish were descendants of Spaniards who have their own racist baggage. That's about how black they are. Not very black. Bona. Well, when I read it, it was not like black, like melanin. It was like a whole, but I couldn't remember what it was. I don't know how I lost this thing. But anyway, what were they? Nike, I can't even remember the headline now. Um, and I can't even ask you. Oh, I can Habaragani, because even though we haven't talked about it, I did tell you at the beginning what what we were on today. They stole us from the port of Ghana. Yeah, it says double seven trouble. Um, oh, it's raining. It was raining this morning. I had to like find a little window to get my walk in. And got us to Ireland and gave us the name McCoys. Oh, McCoys. Black people in Ireland called McCoys from Ghana? Okay, we're getting close. We're getting kind of close. Yeah, I can't even remember what the headline was about Cap and the the tennis shoe. Yes, ma'am. The tennis shoe company. Um, because I would have kept talking while I look for it, but so Kuji Chagalia is it's, oh, it's in my family, so I speak my truth. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's so many, the world is so full of all kinds of her white kids today less racist than their grandparents. They stole my people. I'm sorry to hear that. Um I mean, we just have heartbreaking story after heartbreaking story and experience, and I guess potentially heartbreaking, because I think, you know, maybe heart hurting. Maybe it doesn't like break us, but it certainly hurts us, and creates lots of challenges and lots of opportunity for growth in a whole different perspective. Um, Okay, we got the Shark, we got the Agent, we got the Florence, we got the Waffle House, we got Pakistan, Nicaragua, Lombard, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Artist, Mississippi. Oh, so then, okay, so I'm not, so, but then, okay, so Kaepernick. So I'm glad Kaepernick got some money for Nike, although Nike will get no money from me. But I know the people are out here just standing for Nike. I don't stand for Nike. Um, but I also don't stand for the Mississippi agency that bans Nike products. I mean, it's just a reflection of like how regressive and negative they, just letting you know, class 425, we are watching you 30 students deep. Oh, yay. I don't know what that means, but welcome class 425. um Yeah, so this Mississippi agency banning Nike products, I feel like as a government agency, them banning Nike products. But it just kind of reminds me, I've been thinking here recently, like for some reason, at one point I used to think, oh, the government is our friend, like this the friend of black people. It's, the government protects us, the government is like neutral. And at some point I realized, wow, when the enslavement of Africans was officially over with the Emancipation Proclamation, and the law, how I don't quote me on it, but the sense of it is that slavery is outlawed unless you're a criminal. Hi, class 425. Unless you're a criminal. And then the government started criminalizing us, like the black clothes. Did you hear about Colin Kaepernick's I'm with Cap shirts? I've been his own line of t-shirts. They sold out instantly. Yeah, I did hear about it, but I didn't talk about it. And I didn't buy that either. Because I don't know if I think I like Cap, but yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I'm not really a t-shirt person, but if I was gonna buy something that's true, it would be something that he was producing where he was getting the profit. I'm not trying to give Nike no more money. Not that they've ever gotten any. Have I ever bought a pair of Nikes? Nikes. When I was growing up, we called them Nikes. Or in Detroit, we called them Nikes. Um, so Dang, I forgot what I was saying. Mississippi agency. Oh, so you felt like the government is like on your side, but then the government was like, oh, black people are all criminals. You're standing around, you're a vagrant. I'm arresting you and I'm putting you in jail because you're a criminal. You stole an orange, I'm putting you in jail for 20 years. Like just making up all of these like crimes that black folks were guilty of, particularly when businesses needed free labor, or when they have this whole convict leasing system where they're leasing us, the government is leasing us to the corporation. So it's slavery. The government was like right in the forefront of maintaining and continuing the enslavement of African people. So no, the government is not our friend. The government has all kinds of policies that are like anti-black, against us, like it's just, so no, like this whole idea in my head that I had that like the government, because like when people be like, oh, you can always get a job at the post office. And a lot of times if you look, the government was sort of in the forefront of being like desegregation. So you'll see like a disproportionate number of black folks in the military. You'll see a disproportionate number of black and brown folks in like government jobs because they were monitored in certain ways that other people weren't. But they're still not our friend. They're not my friend. So I shouldn't be shocked, even though I was like a Mississippi agency. Making sure our young people see different views. So thank you so much. And it's important. I wish I was a little more articulate because I just have a general sense of stuff. I just so yeah, I'm not like, so the government, especially in Mississippi, we should not be shocked that they're banning Nike products, or that they're against anything halfway progressive, because we know that they're regressive. We know that. Ex-Florida police chief pleads guilty to framing black men. So I think that this case, I don't think this is a fresh story. I think this is like an older story. Probably a few weeks, he kind of came out and said that he told the people who work for him, hey, if you don't know what to do, just blame it on a black person. Or, basically that's how I interpreted what he was saying. So he pled guilty to framing black men, this particular police chief. But I feel like what's really important in the context of that is for us to not think of this particular situation as isolated. Just because this happened to come out in the forefront and this person has pled guilty, we have to like keep in mind that this whole system has systematically framed black people. You hear story after story after story of black men, mostly black women also, who have been in jail, enslaved, imprisoned, falsely, like illegitimately, wrongly, by the government, by police chiefs, by police officers, formal policies, informal policies. Like that's the nature of this injustice system. It's unjust toward us. It's never been just toward us, and it's never been about justice for us. So anyway, he pled guilty. I feel like, one pleads guilty and it's 8 million out here doing the same thing. So I don't know. Is that something that I'm excited about? I'm not really excited about it because I'm not excited. Why does this town in Brazil have so many twins? I don't know. This is coming off of the bbc.co.uk news. I didn't even click the article, but I just love twins. For some reason, I feel like I was born a twin. Is that weird? I wasn't though. But I think that I have this story made up in my head that my father was born a twin, and I don't know if that's true or not, but I just love twins. I think everybody kind of loves twins. Maybe I'm from the region in Africa, like I think like the Yoruba are like really into like twins. Maybe that's like some like part of that part of my blood is activated because I just love twins, and I want to know, why does this town in Brazil have so many twins? Now I didn't think about it till I'm talking about it right now, but perhaps it has to do with, the region in Africa where the Brazilians are from, because it's a huge population of black and brown folks, of like folks of African descent in Brazil. We don't typically see them. When we see things from Brazil, the people are white for the most part, like on magazines and all of that kind of stuff, but the people in Brazil are like black. Many are blackety black, but just different variations of brown and of African descent. So I don't know, maybe somebody will look it up and tell us, why does this town in Brazil have so many twins? We don't even know what town it is. framing Black people is a constant amongst the police throughout the country, whether our unfortunate interaction with them ends in life or death. Mm-hmm. Exactly, Bona. Last call for Nevada's brothels. So Nevada has legal, like it's like prostitution is legal in Nevada. I guess maybe is that the state? Las Vegas, Nevada. Right. So Nevada is the state. So I think prostitution is legal in Nevada, and they have those brothels. So I don't know what this means. I don't know if they're about to like cancel the legal prostitution in Nevada or what, but there it is. I don't know how old the class is. I hope that the people, because I'm refraining from talking about brothelization or whatever, because there might be young people on the line. What WTF? Mississippi U.S. Senate candidate wants Blacks to stop begging for scraps. We actually talked about this story yesterday a little bit, so we're going to keep it moving. Money wives, the Nigerian girls sold to repay debts. That's not cool. This is coming off of BBC as well. And I think that they're saying, of course, I shouldn't say of course, it's not like really a surprise that the girls are like young, 11, 12, 10, 15, and they're sold to like older men, 14, I mean, not 14, 40, 50, and bullshit like that. To replace these, yeah, you can, it could be something that in that particular environment in Brazil that's causing zygotes to split. It's so very scientific. Yeah, I know. I wanted to look, I want to see. Look at her. Look at her hair. Um Through a tradition called money marriage, some young girls are being used as currency. Used as currency. I haven't really heard that expression. But anyway, what an apt expression. In a type of modern slavery among southern Nigeria's Becheve, Becheve community. Children are sold to men as old as 90 to settle debts or as a form of payment. That is disgusting. Yeah, that's disgusting. The whole thing, like selling somebody, like you can't sell a person because each of us owns ourselves. You can't sell nobody. That's not legitimate. I mean, people may do it, but it's not a legitimate activity because you don't own anybody else. We each own ourselves. So you can't sell somebody else. And then trying to like connect a child to an older person as a wife is some bullshit. We're not here for that. Miami Dolphins, Kenny Stills, Albert Wilson, and a handful of players continue anthem protests. I'm always here for athletes being more political. I've told you before that when I grew up, my mother was like, Paul Robeson. I love Paul Robeson, who's like from the 1920s. I don't know when, but Paul Robeson is like one of our elders, one of our older ancestors. And she loved Paul Robeson and kind of instilled in me this idea that here was a man who was not only an athlete, but he was a scholar, who was not only a scholar, but he was an activist, who was not only an activist, but he was a singer and an actor. He was like a multi-talented, high consciousness man, like a man's man. And he was blackity black. So that's why I love Paul. I mean, but like that idea of athletes not just being bodies but being minds and spirits and souls. I love that. I love to see that. It's exciting to me. So I don't know who any of these men are. Kenny Stills, Albert Wilson, and whatever the handful of players are that continue the anthem protest. But I'm here for it. I'm here for their their politicization, like them becoming more political. I'm here for them becoming more conscious. I'm here for them standing up for their people. I'm here for them standing up for truth and justice and rightness. And I like just support and encourage the growth and stimulation of that in them as athletes and in all of us. May we all stand for justice and rightness and truth. If we're not standing for justice and rightness and truth and good and God and love, then what are we doing? I mean, I'm just asking. I just want to know, So, I'm here for them and, all of that. HBCUs awarded $8.6 million for preservation projects. I don't know. I don't know what that means. But we were just talking the other day about the HBCUs, Howard in particular, having some challenges around their financial aid program, and it being linked perhaps maybe sort of kind of to the whole scandal that we heard of. What was the child's name who we saw in his Gucci belt and his fur coat, and he was like getting money from financial aid? The story went illegitimately, and he was working for the financial aid office, and it wasn't just him. But I'm always kind of suspicious of those stories in a way. I want to say his name was Tyrone. Better call Tyrone. I'm always suspicious of those stories in a kind of way because I feel like there's always something out here. There's always like there's often like some propaganda, or the way the story is framed in such a way so that we blame ourselves. And I'm not really here for it. I'm just not here for it. So I don't, like I kind of feel like that's like, like black folks, as brown folks, I feel like, the endeavor, the project is self-love. What's the general age range of your students? Bonafide is asking. 777 trouble. Typhoon Mangkhut, South China hunkers down for deadly storm. So that storm has already happened. I think we talked a little bit about yesterday, in terms of yesterday or the day before, in terms of some of the fatalities. There was like some folks that were lost in a landslide, and I think we 16 to 21. Okay, so old enough, not totally grown, but grownish. We talked about yeah, and typhoons also, are they like hurricanes? I think we established that typhoons are hurricanes. Hurricanes happen in this region of the world, and typhoons happen in another region of the world. We got to look that up. We got to be clear. I don't know if we do or we don't, but anyway. Schools nationwide install blue emergency boxes in case of active shooter. There's, I think, an active shooter going on right now, or there was earlier, like at a Rite Aid distribution packing plant, and it was a woman. It was a woman. Was she black? I mean, because it's always white men for the most part. So if we're gonna bring in like the unusual scenario, I guess we might as well bring in a black woman to. But I'm not saying. But anyway, yeah. So schools are dealing with. I kind of feel like the dealing of the issue by installing boxes in the school is not really dealing with the issue to me. I don't know what's in the emergency boxes. I don't know if they have like, it's a black squirrel over there. Do you have black squirrels in your community? When I was growing up in Detroit, you would only see black squirrels on the east side. And now they're like, I see them all over the city. And also I've heard like 2 or 3 people say that black squirrels are the worst. And I'm like, why are black squirrels the worst? Like, am I going to believe that? Like, is that just some like anti-black propaganda? And they're more aggressive. They chew up the garbage cans worse. Like, they're the worst. And I'm like, really? I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. But anyway, I was going to show y'all, but it's too close to the car. I think that the issue is the issue of school shootings. I don't know if guns are going to be in the box. I don't know if shields are going to be in the box. I don't know what's in the blue box for the children and the teachers in the school and the administrators in the schools. I don't know. But I feel like it's beside the issue. So it's sort of like if you're living in a home and somebody keeps beating your behind, and you're like, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a vest so that when they beat me, it doesn't hurt me as bad. I feel like you're not really dealing with the issue. Woman kills 3 at Rite Aid distribution center, says I see. Okay, yeah, I don't think I have that story yet in my feed. I feel like you're not quite dealing with the issue. The issue is, who is hitting you? Why are they hitting you? Do you need to get out? I mean, there's like a whole nother, like, I feel like the solution does not need to be putting a blue box in the room. You might put a blue box in the room temporarily while you address the real issue. But of course, we don't have, in this country or whatever, we don't have a good habit of dealing with the core issues. We're good at dealing with symptoms. Oh, you have a headache. Take a whole bunch of aspirin. Take a whole bunch of drugs. Don't ask why you have a headache. Don't drink more water. Don't eat a better quality of food. Just take these drugs, and then these drugs are going to cause you to have other problems, like your liver or your kidney is going to be all jacked up, and then you'll have more problems. We're not good at like, well, wait a second, why you got a headache? Let's deal with that. Why you got a headache every week? Why you got a headache every day? I used to have headaches every day. Bona, the only time I've ever seen black squirrels were in Princeton on the grounds of Princeton University. There wasn't nothing aggressive about them. I know, right? Is that like the projection? Yeah, they're all over the place. And sometimes the squirrels that I see around here now are like black. You know, the regular squirrels I'm used to are like grayish brown, but sometimes you'll see like a squirrel might be black and have like a grayish brown tail. So I think it's like a mixed a mixed squirrel, an interracial squirrel. Can you have interracial squirrels? An interspecies squirrel. Is it a whole nother species of squirrel? I did look it up one day, but I don't really remember. Because I just decided I'm not going to buy into the propaganda that black squirrels are the worst. Salesforce CEO Mark Bainoff and his wife are buying Time magazine for $190 million. So we talked about it yesterday a little bit in terms of there was like another story that's like, why are all of the millionaires, why do all of these billionaires want to own media corporations? And we established pretty clearly, I think we all agreed, that it's because they want to control the narrative and they want to tell us what to think and most importantly what to buy and to buy from them. But anyway, Salesforce, I don't even really know what Salesforce is, but the CEO and his wife bought Time magazine for 190 million. So, and I was asking yesterday, are they going to put zero on the cover? Because that's the magazine he's been wanting to get on the cover of. A third-party app can use Grindr to expose your exact location. Now, I think Grindr is one of these dating apps. So, like on the app, and I think you probably think you anonymous, like flirting or meeting people or doing whatever you do on these dating apps. I don't know anything about a dating app. Although I have, I guess now I have some experience with like, meeting someone on the interwebs, on the internet, but I don't, not like through an app. So you flirting, you dating, you whatever, but you think you anonymous. You don't think somebody can find out exactly where you are and just like show up at your door knocking. Hello, Angela. We were talking on Grindr because you figure you safe because But there is, according to Engadget.com, a third-party app that can use Grindr to expose your exact location. So y'all be careful out here. I mean, we think, y'all just be careful out here and be safe. We think we're not exposed in certain ways, and we may be exposed in certain ways. How South Africa is using new tech to combat gun violence. I don't know what the new tech is. But yesterday we were talking about, is South Africa like a war zone? And the article was like, no, South Africa has its issues with crime, but not as many issues as a literal technical war zone. Uzbekistan, land of 1,000 shrines. And they're thinking, hey, we got a whole bunch of shrines here. We can make this a business. We can make this a business. We can have people come from all over the world to come here to pray at these shrines. I think some of the shrines seem to be like Christian or connected with Christianity somehow, but also Christianity and perhaps Judaism and perhaps Islam. Like maybe are they called the Abrahamic, but the religions of Abraham. Now I don't know why they're the religions of Abraham, but those three are like all have like similar roots and like a similar something similar going on with them. So I'm not really Uzbekistan, like all of the stands I get very familiar. I mean very confused, like Pakistan, and then it's kind of like Pakistan seems to me like India. Uzbekistan seems like it won't work. Ultimately, we in social media can, should, and must create our own narrative, promote our own ideas, and advertise our own products and services, says Bonafide. And Uzbekistan, I think of as like Eastern European, but then the stand, what's up with the stand? What does it mean? So anyway, they got a whole bunch of shrines, and they want you to come there so you can. Now, when I was in India, that was interesting to see all of the people making pilgrimages. We were just talking about that the other day. Like you get on the train and it's like, like I'm talking about a train like going cross country, like you on 24-hour trip. And then somebody, you one stop, it might be like 5 or 10 pilgrims get on, and you'll know they're pilgrims because they'll be dressed similarly, dressed the same. They might have on like black paint or like an orange, or I can't even remember what it was, but first it's like 5 will get on, then at the next stop it might be like 15, and then at the next stop it might be like 200, and it's like woo, it was really interesting. I like to see people going on pilgrimages. Because I don't know, I kind of feel like if you're doing spiritual work, if you're going on pilgrimages, then that's going to help us to mature and grow and develop and evolve as people. Like, you know, when you do good work, it actually helps all of us. That's what I believe. Chinese gambling boom looms over Cambodia's Pot. I don't know what that means. Caribbean rum resurgence, hellish liquor to premium product. I'm not a fan of rum because rum is connected with the sugar industry. And you know, the sugar industry is evil. Sugar is evil. My guess is that Stan probably just means land in Arabic. Oh, says Bonafide. That's probably a good guess. And see, I feel like I need to like get a map because in my mind, Eastern Europe is like just like to me, Russia and China are like two totally different things, although they're not. Like that there's a connection. And sometimes when you look at some people who are like Russian or Chinese, to me they kind of look like they could be both. Like you can like twist your eyes and kind of see both of them. Have you had that experience? So probably these some things in my head that are like totally different may not be like totally different. Chinese gambling boom looms over Cambodia's Pot. I don't really know what that means. I guess they're gambling in China or something. I don't know. Caribbean, I probably read the article 4 or 5 days ago and it was interesting at the time. Oh, Caribbean rum, we talk. Oh, so rum connected to sugar industry. Sugar is evil. It jacks up your body, especially refined white sugar. Stay away from it. Evil, evil, evil. And then just the whole sugar industry and how it exploits people, how it has exploited black folks when we were technically enslaved in this country. But even now, you know, in order to make sugar, there's like, hey, Mother Wisdom Tree, beautiful one, thanks for joining and greeting. You know, just sugar is evil. The whole sugar industry is evil, you know, especially the sugar cane. You know, now I have had a piece of sugar cane where you just chew on it and it's delicious. And I don't mean that that's evil, but I just mean the whole sugar industry is evil, is evil. So rum is a part of that. I'm boo, boo. Virgin to use eco-friendly jet fuel on commercial flight this October. So I guess Virgin, the Air Atlantic, is it Virgin Atlantic? Roscoe Lee Brown, actor who refused to limit himself by taking roles that demeaned or mocked African Americans. Yay, Roscoe Lee Brown. That name sounds familiar, but I'm like, who is he? Roscoe Lee Brown. He got a lot of E's in his name too, because it's Roscoe with an E at the end, Lee, and then Brown with an E at the end. Eliud Kipochi sets new marathon world record in Berlin. I think this person probably looked like they were like East African or something. That's probably why I hit that link. Aspirin a day risky in old age, major study. So remember when they were like telling people, oh, take an aspirin every day to keep you from having a heart attack? I just felt like that was very suspicious. So now they're saying that the study is like it may be risky in old age. I'm like, is it ever good for anybody to be taking an aspirin a day? Macron tells young job seeker, I can find you a job by crossing the road. The person is saying, I've been out here looking for a job and I'm not having any luck. And Macron, who is the leader of France, boo France, because of the whole Haiti having to pay reparations to France, and because of France and their policies toward their former colonies. That's a whole nother conversation, but boo France. So Macron is the leader of France, and he telling the person, I could find you a job by crossing the road. And I kind of feel like, well, you're the leader of your country. And so I don't really know if are you saying that the person, much respect to Roscoe Lee Brown. Oh, wait. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. All right, 23 claps for Roscoe Lee Brown. We hadn't clapped for anybody in a long time. Woo! Thank you. Drop in the comments any good news that you have personally, any good news that you have within your family and your community. We'll loop back around to it again when we talk about the it's already 2:24. So I don't appreciate Macron telling somebody, I could find you a job by going across the road. Well, you the president. Can he, if he been looking for a job, I just feel like I don't really, Massachusetts gas blast, residents allowed home after fires and explosions. I really wanted to know more about that story, but I just, yeah. Typhoon Mangkut, deadly typhoon lands in South China. We talked about that a little bit. German treehouse protests dismantled by police. Amazon looks into reports of staff leaking data to merchants. Green Book wins influential Toronto Festival Award. I think Green Book must be a film. And I wonder if it's about like the Green Book, like when black folks used to like travel and we used to use like the Green Book to know what towns were sundown towns, as in if your black behind is not out of this town by sundown, they're gonna be trying to kill you, sundown towns, and which places were safe to like buy gas and get food and all of this other stuff. We just don't want people to think this is over. Florence continues ravaging the Carolinas as death toll climbs, rivers overflow, and tornadoes threaten to strike. San Francisco's new $2.2 billion transit center, the Grand Central Station of the West, is officially open to the public. Take a look around. I've been to Grand Central Station in New York and in DC. Super Typhoon Mangkhut slammed right into Hong Kong, and the scenes were apocalyptic. So I had a lot of stories about Mangkhut, but that was a few days ago. NYPD cop stays calm as racist handcuffed suspect repeatedly hurls N-word. They love to hurl the N-word. I think I'm kind of like, again, I've never had anybody personally call me that, but I think I'm kind of personally, I'm like desensitized. Like, I'm also kind of like, oh, you want to be in blackface because you want to be black? I don't blame you for wanting to be black. If I wasn't black, I would want to be black too. And I feel like you calling me a name does not diminish who I am or anything. Like, I just kind of feel like you're dumb. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe because I mean, it's dumb and it's ignorant and like you're trying to like instigate something and like your vibration is low. Like, what are you doing and why? Don't you have anything productive to do? Yeah, yeah. 30-year-old Bills player allegedly quit and retired at halftime while his team trailed a game 28-6. I was here for it. And I saw somebody on Twitter who was like, somebody posted up some athlete, I guess, being like, I'm so mad because when we play on a team, we're all together and you can't leave your teammates. And the person who retweeted the thing is like, I hope he had the same virulence and madness for the owners when they're dogging out players. You know, he gave some examples of specific things, but I'm like, who are you allied with? Who are you here for? I'm here for the man doing what he needs to do for his body and his family. That's who I'm here for. And 30 years old, shoot, he probably been playing. I mean, that's how long does an athlete's career last, really? Yeah. Students claim discrimination over Black Girl Magic parking spots. So apparently these children in this high school, when they're seniors, they can buy, I think they get parking spots and they can buy having their spots painted. Like they can pay 30 bucks and then they can have their spots personalized. So there were children who had like Bible verses in their parking spots. But then one girl, I think one young woman, she was from India and she might have had like the Taj Mahal in there. And the school was like, make sure you don't make it look like a mosque. And I'm like, so what if it is a mosque? What, I mean, is there like other people can have Bible verses? She can't have her spiritual beliefs. If her spiritual beliefs were Islam, she can't have, I mean, I don't understand. And then some girls put down Black Girl Magic or something, and the people were giving them grief about that and having issues. So it seemed like it wasn't just about the Black Girl Magic, but it seemed to be like about anything that wasn't white, Christian. And I think somebody had Blue Lives Matter up there. And there wasn't no problem with that, but there was a problem with like black stuff. Married at First Sight couple Mia Bali and Tristan Thompson seek divorce while show is still airing. So I think Tristan is the one who said, now Mia is from Trinidad and maybe Jamaica or something like that, but she's pretty light skinned and she has straightish hair. She's racially ambiguous looking, like if you look, and her dad looked Indian when I think I watched one episode just like the other day, literally. But if you look at her dad looked Indian. But, you know, in Trinity, there's a bunch of people who look like they could be, you know, who are of Indian descent, like Southeast Asia Indian. And this young man, Tristan, he's light skinned. Like to me, he looks like, maybe to somebody else he looked brown. But I think that he was the one who said, I don't want anyone who's my color or darker. and he's pretty light. He's like, you just have to be with someone who melts your butter, because he's like an exceptional person. And in this society that hates black people and blackness, he doesn't, he happens to just be attracted to lightness and proximity to whiteness. I'm just saying he's so exceptional. But they're already divorcing. So they not even waiting to leave the people in suspense who are watching the show to know, do they stay married? Do they get divorced? So anyway, World Afro Day. Why, I love my natural hair. When was World Afro Day? Y'all know about World Afro Day? How do you celebrate World Afro Day? Maybe you walk around doing like this. I got an afro. I got afro. I need, like, maybe you wear an afro wig. Maybe you walk around being like, I love my natural hair because I don't know. How do you celebrate World Afro Day? And when is World Afro Day? Or when was it? It happened. Must have just happened here recently. And who decided it was World Afro Day? I think every day is World Afro Day. Judge resigns after video shows him grabbing black woman around the neck. North Korea claims NHS and Sony hack suspect doesn't exist. Detroit cop, that's just sad. Even in 2018, we're dealing with so much deep-seated colorism. Yeah, but I feel like colorism is part of the whole racism continuum. So like yeah. But things are changing. They're turning. Detroit cop loses appeal over suit in Aiyana Jones' death. Now, I think Aiyana Jones was a baby who got shot in Detroit, but I don't really know the story. This is coming off of the Griot. LeBron James has a message for Nike haters. I'm a Nike hater. Am I a Nike hater? I think he probably has a message for like the white folks who are like burning their Nike stuff. But I don't know if I'm a Nike hater. That might be strong. But anyway, and I was having a crush on LeBron James, but I'm not here for his message. Ken Smilkle, I was having a crush on him for being progressive, but like, yeah. Ken Smilkle, somebody, founder of Target Market News, dies of congestive heart failure. Ken Smikle, Smikle. This is coming off the Griot, so I guess this is, I'm not familiar with Target Market News. Oh, I think the Target Market News was sort of like a marketing newsletter that dealt with like black and brown folks and like stuff related to us. So I'm not in marketing, so maybe in the marketing world this is someone who is, thought to be well respected. Again, it's coming off the Griot, so I guess they felt like he was a newsworthy person. So rest in peace to Ken Smikle and his family and community. Long Island man freed after wrongful imprisonment for a decade. We were just talking about, the chief of police in Florida or wherever he was, who was found guilty of wrongfully convicting black men. But we know it's systematic. We hear story after story after story of wrongfully imprisoned people being freed. So I'm glad that the person is free, and prayers out to him as he makes his transition into freedom. And just like lots of mourning for the years that have been lost. Like, it's just no fun to be not free, to have people controlling what you do and when you do it and how you do it. Aiyana Jones was a 7-year-old girl who was shot in the head while asleep in her grandmother's arms when a SWAT team broke into their house, says Bonafide, 1970. Prayers out to Aiyana, and just let's continue to Aiyana and her family and community, and let's continue to raise her name up and say the names of all of our ancestors who have been unjustly struck down. And as is anyone who is struck down, may the spirit of righteousness and justice rise up. Mummified Ice Age wolf pup and caribou found in northern Canada. A pod of beluga whales adopted a lost narwhal, and researchers say it behaves like it was one of the boys. So the animals are getting along. I guess a narwhal is an animal. I don't know what that is, Narwhal, but I'm assuming it's some sort of animal that swims in the ocean. EU migrant row called to screen rescued asylum seekers at sea. Typhoon Mango, Philippines hit by strongest storm. So Philippines, Hong Kong, South China. So we see it progressing through places where people were living. Chicago, 3 artists challenging African American stereotypes. Why Uganda is the world's fittest country. Part of it is that they say that people are relatively poor and they got to walk to where they got to go. So if they got to go to work, they might have to walk, an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours in the morning to get there, hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours at night to get home. So that contributes to fitness. In an economy rigged against the poor, lotteries are mechanism of social mobility, says Moguldom. I'm like, that sounds like some bull to me. I'd have to read that article. How are people really moving up from the lottery? Is that really a mechanism of social mobility, or is it just like in our head? I'm gonna get rich. I'm gonna win the lottery. Because like when people win the lottery, a lot of times I've heard that people end up 2, 3, 4 years later in the same position or worse than they were before they won the lottery. They say that if your mindset doesn't change, it's not the money, it's your mindset and your consciousness. French Heritage Lottery aims to save national treasure. Ignoble win for kidney stone removing roller coaster. So on this roller coaster, people were going on, their kidney stones were coming out or something. And an ignoble is kind of like a Nobel Prize, but like an ignoble, like it's some kind of, it's coming off the BBC. Gabourey Sidibe speaks out about being body shamed at CurvyCon during New York Fashion Week. So when I first read the headline, I'm like, wow, she was at CurvyCon, like a convention for curvy people, and they fat shamed her. But I think that they're saying that she was at CurvyCon at New York Fashion Week and she spoke out against being body shamed. Scott Morrison, Australian PM, puts hands over fat man scoop use. I don't even know what that means. Puts hands up over fat man scoop use. That must be some kind of rough roller coaster. I think somebody went on it and they lost a kidney stone, or they passed one or whatever, and then somebody else went on and then they decided to like test it out. Scott, okay. Email scam, Nigerian ran ring from Sydney Detention Center. Oh, a Nigerian ran a ring from a Sydney Detention Center. They're saying this email scam. Remember, like probably about 10 years ago or maybe 15 years ago, it was like I started getting the impression, I'm like, dang, it seemed like a lot of these scammers are Nigerians. And like, what's up with that? Like, are Nigerians just like more prone to scammation than other people? And then I think I might have found out, or like now I'm like under the impression that there are a lot of Nigerians in the world. So I don't know if proportionately, like they have a greater percentage of scammers among the Nigerians than any other group of people. I don't know. But at first I was kind of like, oh my gosh, you keep hearing of the like Nigerian, I'm a king and I need your help, or I'm a prince and I inherited this, all these different scams. But I used to hear about it associated with Nigeria all the time. Uranus Examiner, local newspaper stirs controversy. So people are like, why you name it the Uranus Examiner? Why couldn't you come up with a better name? You could have used a county name. It might be Jefferson County. Why don't you call it the Jefferson County Examiner? So yeah, that's the controversy. Naomi Osaka reveals what Serena Williams whispered in her ear after the US Open win. She said, baby girl, they not booing you. I think that's basically the gist of it. Dalai Lama to meet alleged Dutch abuse victims. Banks are keeping a closer tab on your reputation than ever before, and it may explain why one Sapphire Reserve cardholder mysteriously had his account shut down by Chase. Chase is like, we not having no association with nobody who we think might be involved with no crime. They have systems in place, and if you sort of kind of look like you might fit the profile, then they canceling your account. And I guess their system is more strong than some other people's system, so people are getting like kicked out of Sapphire. I don't care nothing about a credit card company at all. Police chief admits he hired officer with white supremacist ties. Again, we're not surprised by this. This is not news. This is same stuff, different day. Same skit, different day. SSDD. It's kind of like he admitting it. Don't all of the officers have white supremacist ties? White supremacists and or Irish? We were talking about the Irish and cops today. So anyway, yeah, that's coming off the grill if you want to read that. Netflix Alliance helps filmmakers meet its stringent video demands. So, yeah. Milwaukee officer involved in NBA player Sterling Brown's arrest fired after mocking the incident on Facebook. So I guess this NBA player was arrested, and the officer involved with it was like, mocking it on Facebook, so he got fired. Black student activists face penalty in college admissions. Viewpoint: what can stop India's rupee plunge? Oh, I didn't even. A Malinge Wala chainsaw attack won't stop me from doing what I love. I think I think he was a man, and I think he's like a triathlete, and somebody attacked him with a chainsaw, and I think we talked about it like probably about 6 months ago or something. And he like, it's not gonna stop me. I'm out here. I'm here for this triathlete life. I swim. I'm a ride the bike. I'm a run. I don't care if you attack me with a chainsaw. Spectacular, this coming off BBC if you want to follow up on the story. Spectacular super bloom transforms South African desert. How I escaped the priest who abused me. Restaurant loses $190 million in value after dead rat found in soup. Australia's anthem, why the words young and free sparked protest. Because people are like, y'all talking about the young and free white people who came and colonized Australia. Y'all not talking about us, because we've been old and established, and we haven't been freed by y'all coming here. We've been more enslaved by y'all coming here. That's what I think the situation is. Louisiana mayor who called for Nike ban rescinds call after backlash. Watch, Omarosa calls journalist the B word during tense interview. Cliff collapse in Greek shipwreck beach injures tourist. Ratatouille. Ratatouille. Rat-a-touille. Both in Jean, protesters disrupt city council meeting demanding justice and police slaying. Has anybody heard about 9 people who were arrested? Have they been freed yet? What's up with that? Students made to look black in French art school photo. I guess the impression I got is that they were trying to like fake the funk, like they got more brown and black students in the school than they did. So they like tried to make some people look blacker or browner. I think that's the impression I got. Algerian war, Macron in rare torture admission. Macron is the leader of France. Algeria, yeah, boo France. Cory Booker releases more confidential documents related to Kavanaugh. KKK flyers recruiting new members flood Philadelphia suburbs. We're not surprised anymore, are we, about the KKK recruiting in the North and being very active in the North and having a long legacy of being active in the North? We not surprised by that, are we? Okay. South Sudan midwives boosted by aid wonder how long donors will deliver. Crazy Train, NRA blasted for putting KKK hoods on popular children's toy. The NRA is crazy. I mean, wow, yeah. Botham Jean, man killed in apartment by off-duty Dallas officer, laid to rest today. This was a couple days ago, but rest in peace to him. And just may we all rise up and fight for justice and truth and good in God and dignity and human decency. It's time to talk about why so many Black people decide their only path to relief is by suicide. So prayers out to people who are feeling like, the best option for them is to end their lives. And may we all be supportive of one another, and may we reach out in love to each other, in support of one another, and just sensitivity. Like, you never know what people are going through, and may we figure out ways to help each other and support each other. Actor Michael K. Williams shared a photo of his old public assistance card on Instagram and inspired others to tell their stories. 60 Minutes producer ousted amid sexual harassment allegations threatened CBS reporter Jerrica Duncan for investigating the claims. You better not investigate me. I'm the producer. I'm going to get you. And she I'm a reporter. I'm doing what I do, I guess. A record 12,800 immigrant children are now in U.S. government custody, and shelters are about to hit full capacity. Excuse me. A Parkland survivor thinks meditation, not more police, would help students move forward from school shootings. Florida's systemic felon disenfranchisement could end in Florida. Something progressive perhaps going on in Florida? Kind of, sort of. I cried so much when I heard the warplanes again. Idlib. That's like a region in a place in the Middle East, I think. Is this the cheapest commute in the world? And just imagine like you're in a war zone and you think, oh, it's over, and then you hear the planes again. Like it's just like it's continuing, it's unrelenting, it just won't stop. A letter from Africa. As long as there's life, there's hope. As long as there's life, there's hope. We need to connect with our people who need help and do what we can, even if it's offering loving energy and prayer. And yes, I agree 100%. Bonafide, 1970. Letter from Africa. Zimbabwe's enemy of the people returns home. Ethiopia's world laughter master, Belachu Gurma, a world laughter master. There's like a yoga or something where you like laugh. Y'all know that game, ha? You say, one person says ha, the next person says ha ha, the next person says ha ha ha, the next person says ha 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 ha, the next person says ha 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 ha. And if you play it, when I played it, you usually end up laughing. But I don't even need to play a game to laugh. See, I can just laugh all cute. Vietnamese capital Hanoi asked people to not eat dog meat. Now, I don't eat meat. I don't understand why. Oh, speaking of which, I have a new cleanse coming up. It's already a new season. So I'm going to be doing a cleanse. It's going to be about 15 days. I'm going to start on the 23rd, which is Sunday after the fall equinox. And I'm going to go until October 7th, which is the day before the new moon. So y'all know I do like from the change of seasons, which is solar energy, to the new moon, which is a new start, which is lunar energy, merging the solar and the lunar. And I really don't want to do it, but I did it the last quarter, so I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. So I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to do raw again. But I don't understand, like, I mean, I know I have a dog, Bella, she's sitting right here, we cool and everything. I'm not going to eat her. I'm not trying to really eat any animal these days, but I don't know why it's like some value judgment, like, oh, you eat dog. Is that worse than eating cow or pig or fish? I don't know. Like, people act like it is, but I don't really like what's the difference? And I guess in some regions of the world, if you eat pig, like, y'all see the black squirrel in the background on this side of the screen. In some regions of the world, like even in like some parts of the black community, they're like, I don't eat pig. Like that's like disgusting, but other people love pig. And then other people are like, no, cow is holy. And then other people eat cow. So I don't know. I mean, in chicken, some people think chickens are cool and you eat chicken. I mean, not you specifically, but I'm just saying we eat chicken, not me specifically. FDA and USDA will meet to debate the future of lab-grown meat. Australian schoolgirl Harper Nilsson's national anthem protest. She a young white girl, and she's like, the free and the young part of the Australia. She like, it's not cool for the native folks. Laughing yoga is supposed to be very beneficial for both physical and mental health. I don't know if I'd try it though. Might not be able to stop, says Bonafide 1970. Well, that's good. Keep laughing. Keep on laughing. Don't stop like the hands of time. Tick tock. Bella stretching like, oh, here she go again with some foolishness. Little Bit's latest kits are inspired by modern inventors. Cancers rising around the world. I think it's like industrialization that causes more cancer. The foods that come with industrialization. Umpires threaten to boycott Serena Williams after U.S. Open outburst. The haters. Oregon just became the first state to legalize mass timber high rises, and it could lead to a boom in tall wood buildings. Now they're saying that the wood buildings are like less fireproof or like less inclined to catch fire. I think that's what the article said. A woman jumped out of a moving car to escape a man who posed as her Uber driver, and now she's warning others of rideshare imposters. Wash State Democratic Party staff unionizes with IUPAT 1094. Also, the Washington State Democratic Party staff, they're in a union now, and they joined the IUPAT 1094. Okay, so that is the end of that was a long news feed. I don't think I have time to do today's news feed. I'm gonna have to try to catch up with that one. But what I am going to do is what I'm going to go through as much as what I promised you, because I did say at the end I was going to loop back to my current news feed for today, because that was old news. That's just in case you missed it. But what I am definitely going to do is to go to the Nguzo Saba. You know that we do one Nguzo Saba. Doesn't Uber provide a photo of your driver? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how it works. You know, I think sometimes the I don't know. So let me not even say anything. I think it might vary situation to situation, but I don't know. Because like maybe it's like on social media, if somebody didn't put their photo up, or I don't know. Or maybe the person wasn't paying close attention. Like, you don't look like the person in this photo. Let me see your ID. Y'all see the black squirrel? Black squirrels. We love black squirrels. Black. Black squirrels are the best. We love a black squirrel. Okay, so Kuji Chagalia is the Nguzo Saba for today. Principle number 2, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. We're on paragraph 2. The first, so I said that I was going to do my old news, then the Nguzo Saba for today, then what up, though, Buddha? Yo, Buddha, what up, though? Okay. So we're on paragraph 2 of Kuji Chagalia. We already did the old news. I don't know if we're going to get to the new news, but okay. The first act of a free people is to shape its world in its own image and interests. So are you shaping your world in your own image? When people go into your house, does it look like the house of an African person? The clothes you wear, do they look like the clothes of an African person? What's good? Little bruh, I know. Does it look like the house of an African person? Does your face, does your hair, does your body, are you identified? Does your Facebook look like you can you tell do you identify as a black or a brown person? Can you tell from the choices you make who you spend your money with, where you eating your food, what you eating? You see what I'm saying? So are you shaping your world in your own image and interest? When you buy from black folks, that's in your interest. And it is a statement about their conception of self and their commitment to self-determination. That's what Frantz Fanon has said. No. This is a new sentence. Frantz Fanon has said that each person must ask him or herself 3 basic questions. 1, who am I? Who are you? 2, am I really who I say I am? Ooh, am I really who I say I am? Ooh, that's a good question. 3, am I all that I ought to be? Ooh, they just get better and better. Who am I? Am I really who I say I am? And am I all that I ought to be? How can I be better? Am I being my best self? Am I being fabulous me? That's a good question. These are questions of history and culture, not simply queries or questions of personal identity. So who am I? Who are we as a people? Am I really who I say I am? Are we really who we say we are? See, sometimes we be like, black people ain't skit. Is that really true? Because I think that black people are the skit. Am I really all that I ought to be? How can we be better as a people? Are we holding ourselves back? How can we push ourselves forward? More profoundly, they are questions of personal identity. More profoundly, they are questions of collective identity based and born out in historical and cultural practice. And the essential quality of that practice must be the quality of self-determination. If you're not determining who you are, who gonna determine who you are? Very deep, says Mona. If we're not determining who we are, if we're not defining ourselves, if we're not creating for ourselves, if we're not looking out for ourselves, if we're not naming ourselves, Who better to do that than us? Who gonna do it? We sitting around waiting for our enemy to define us, create us, tell us who we are? No, we not doing that. We on some Coogee Chagalia. Is that a cat in the street? Yeah, that's a cat. Look, Bella's sitting up because she know that word CAT. She like, where is it? All right, so yeah, that's pretty good. And now let us see. Dang. What up, though? Yo, Buddha, what up, though? Yo, Buddha, what up, though? Yo, Buddha, what up, though? Pariyati Daily Words of the Buddha. This is for September 21, but we gonna go with it anyway. Is there anything for us here? Let's see. Much though one recites the sacred text, but acts not accordingly, that heedless one is like a cowherd who only counts the cows of others. One does not partake in the blessings of the holy life. Coogee Chagalia. Habaragani. Coogee Chagalia. Habaragani. Coogee Chagalia. Okay. So this is basically saying, look, you can recite all, you can talk that talk, but are you walking the walk? That's basically what it's saying. You can talk that talk, but are you walking the walk? The only way you're going to get the benefits are by walking the walk. Talking the talk is not going to bring you any benefits. So how can we walk the walk more? How can we walk the walk today? Let's examine our lives and find a way that we can be more in alignment in our actions with that talk. I'm talking about that true talk, that God talk, that real talk. All right. So that's it for this edition of Notes on the News. If you came in late, remember that you can, once it's uploaded, we're recording live now, but once it's uploaded, you can go back and catch up to where you go from the beginning to where you and then you're not missing anything. Or you could just watch the whole thing again. So that's that. Again, like I said earlier, today is the best day ever, and you are the greatest. You are the #1 stunner. So you know what you need to do. You don't have to leave YouTube. You definitely don't have to leave channel Be Fabulous You. I want you to stay here, go through some of my old playlists, I don't have any new playlists, but go through the channel, check some stuff out, hang out, spend some time, let's get to know each other, make some comments, hit the notification bell, subscribe, all of that. But they're basically saying, don't just quote the Buddha, be the Buddha. What up, though? Right. Or don't just quote the Christ, be the Christ. Whatever your system is, what's your belief? What, you just talking the talk? But you don't have to go. But our time together has come to an end for today, for right now. But we'll be back again soon. And again, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that notification bell, because you never know when I'm coming back live. I told you, I don't know when I'm coming live. See, I was here yesterday, and I'm here again today. Oops. This is our goodbye song. Hey, be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Who we gonna be if we ain't we?
Who you gonna be if you ain't you?
Huh? Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Peace. That's the jam. Thank you so much for being here. It's on purpose that we were here together, whether live or virtually. I really, really appreciate you. And we're still working on 1,000 subscribers. So thank you for being a part of the dream. Much love to you, my beautiful sister, class 425. I hope that you found this to be thoroughly enlightening. How long can they hang out? They were probably gone a while ago, but yes, we love it. Yay. So go out and be blessed and be the blessing that you are. That's it, y'all. Peace.